Testing, testing. Hi, I'm Ashley, and today joining me is a very special guest. She is going to teach you how to manifest your soulmate, which is very exciting. Armene, pleasure having you here today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's absolutely my pleasure. You are going to teach me how to attract my soulmate. So, what is the first thing I need to do to attract a soulmate?
Okay, the first thing to do when you're attracting your soulmate or anything is to know what you want and know what it's going to feel like. So basically, you can't attract something that you're not aligned with. Everything you're attracting right now is what you're aligned with. And if you want to change that, then you change how you're feeling and how you look at it and change what you're focusing on.
How do you change how you're feeling?
Well, there are so many different ways, and we call them techniques, but that kind of takes the magic out of it. So what you can do is stop focusing on what you don't want and start focusing on what you do want. So a lot of us are, at one time or another experiencing things that, we're not liking. We don't like the person we're dating, we don't like the people that we're around. And what do? We complain, right? Well, when you're complaining, what you're doing is you're actually welcoming more people, more dating partners who you're going to complain about. Not only more things to complain about from that one person, but more people who are going to come into your life who are going to give you problems to complain about. So be clear about what you want. So when that happens, when you notice things you don't want, immediately switch your focus, and that will help you to see what you do want. So what do I not like about this relationship, this date? What do I not like about it? You take that, you look at the opposite, and you're probably going to like the opposite. If this person's not respecting you, then you're going to be like, it would be nice to be with someone who respects me. And then you take that and you run with it. You let go completely of what you didn't like, because the only reason what you don't like is there in a person or in a relationship. It's to help you learn about what you do like. So take what you do like and focus on that. Once you start focusing on that, you kind of can't help but feel better.
Mm-hmm.
So there's also something called the law of detachment.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes the person we're with, we think, oh, but if I just start focusing on what I like, then what if this guy doesn't want me anymore? What if this girl doesn't want me anymore? So that comes to a point where you accept that, what? Is it really about that I have to be with this one person, or does it have to be what's good for me and what feels good? So when you start feeling good, then the person who's going to be good for you is going to come along. Either the person you're with is going to start treating you better, which often happens, or someone else is going to come along who's going to make you feel great.
Okay. Now, I got to meet today your boyfriend, Tigran, right?
Yes.
Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Okay. I got to meet Tigran, and I was wondering, how did you know Tigran was the absolute one?
There was no question about it. There was no question about it. Many months before I started seeing him, I did this whole exercise thing, the law of attraction, and I had been learning about it for many years.
What got you into it?
Well, I watched The Secret like many other people did, and when I watched that, I was in a very unhappy marriage. I had a very young daughter. I had moved from New York to California, which was a huge change for me, and I was on the brink of divorce, but didn't want to be that bad guy who gets divorced, or especially who files for divorce. So basically, I was so unhappy that I couldn't deal with the situation I was in, and I thought, I'm in an unhappy place right now, so as I was drifting off to bed every night, I would find my happy place, and I would just live in possibility. I would think...
What is living in possibility?
It's letting yourself imagine what would be nice without focusing on all the things that are giving you grief at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So the best time to do this is at nighttime. Basically, as you're drifting off to sleep, it's like a meditative state, but I believe it's called theta. It's one state up. So basically, you can still direct your thoughts, but barely. Like you're just drifting off to sleep, and you're so peaceful that you can kind of really enjoy what you're thinking about. And what happens is that your conscious mind is so sleepy at that moment that it can't really fight off the ideas that you're introducing. So what happens is that you let yourself enjoy things. And then once that happens,
I
you're
love what you say about letting yourself enjoy things.
yeah.
Now, how does a person allow themselves to open up and enjoy things, in your opinion?
It's all about not not keeping tension around things you don't want, because
So relax.
yeah, relax, because we hold ourselves in torment. That's what we do. You know, we can only torture ourselves. Nobody can really torture us unless we're letting it happen. And you know, if we say this person's not treating me well, um, you know, it's you have to look inside first. You have to look inside and see, how am I holding myself in this situation, you know?
How am I
Because
treating myself?
how am I treating myself? And you know, it's very possible that it's not just that the person is, obviously, if they're doing something wrong because you feel mistreated, yeah, it's legitimate. But at the same time, maybe this person doesn't have this habit around other people. Maybe there's something off about your energy. So you want to give it the best chance, you know, the best possibility for a good relationship by being aligned with your good self, you know, so that when this person is around you, they're not gonna just for some reason be compelled to do things that are gonna be hurtful, you know. You want to give it the benefit of the doubt. So
Now, the benefit of the doubt. Can you give me an example of a situation where you are giving the benefit of the doubt?
anything, any argument, you know, let's say I wanted to go and do something that day. You know, I want to go to the opera, and my boyfriend does not like the opera, which is completely hypothetical. Completely hypothetical. So, you know, and let's say I bought tickets a month ago, and my boyfriend knew that, but of course, last minute he wants to do something else, or he made other plans. So, you know, yeah, it's kind of.
But we know Tigran wouldn't do that.
No, he's a very artistic man. So, yeah, exactly. So you basically, it seems kind of wrong. It's a light situation, but at the same time, you know, if someone's really looking forward to doing something and then their partner goes and plans something else when they knew well ahead in advance that this was planned, you know, so I can take that very personally, and I can say, hey, you know, why'd you do that? You know, that's completely off, and I'm going to be really hurt by that now. Basically, I decide that in my mind. I don't think it by the words, but what's happening to us. If you slow down our thought process, because, you know, 60,000 thoughts a day is a lot, and we don't really we don't notice all of them. 95% of them are subconscious. So if you really look into that at that moment, what's happening in your mind is you're thinking, okay, I'm going to be upset right now because I've been wronged, you know? And then so I'm going to react, and if I'm mean to this person, then that person is going to come back to me and be upset with me because, you know,
So
what am I doing?
We should change our attitude.
Absolutely, because we're projecting that. We're projecting anger, and that person at that point is going to feel attacked because, you know, maybe they forgot that it was a month ago, and, you know, they forgot they had plans, or they just really don't like the opera and they want to do something else, and they weren't communicating it, but they just feel.
So how would you set boundaries, though? Because in relationships, we have to have boundaries. We have to be able to keep the self. We can't just release the self to the relationship and let go of it and sacrifice the self on the altar of love. So how would you recommend to our viewers and to me, because I'm very good at sacrificing the self in relationships. It's one of my best talents. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm really talented with it. You have no idea. How would you recommend to our viewers to hold on to the self, set boundaries, and not be taken advantage of in their relationships?
Okay, so the law of attraction is all about vibration. So and it's not just about words, and it's not just about topics. So when you say boundaries, okay, there's boundaries as in, like, I would not be with someone who does this. That's a boundary, right?
Yes.
I deserve better than this, right? And there's, I deserve better than this. I wouldn't really want to be with someone like this. I'd prefer being with someone like this. So
totally different energy.
you know how we say it's not the words used, it's the tone? Okay, so, but we have those tones in our mind, and that tone is the vibration. So it's not all about the words you're using, whether it's in your mind or in conversation. It's all about the tone, and the tone is the vibration. So if you're saying boundaries, yeah, if you're going to set boundaries from a place of, yeah, I'm not going to let myself do this again. I'm never going to let a guy do this to me. I'm never going to let a girl, you know, not let me hang out with my guy friends. If that's where you're coming from, then that boundary it's set up for, like, disaster, basically. because what you're doing is you're fighting. If you're fighting against something, then you're kind of asking it to come again. And you can use your will to constantly every time be like, okay, I'm gonna be in a situation where I'm gonna have to put this boundary, But what you can do is, instead of seeing boundaries as the typical way, you can see it as, you know what? It's not a boundary like you are not gonna cross this line. It's more of, I prefer someone or a situation or a relationship where the person loves to spend time with me, and I never feel like they just don't want to be with me. And I just, or I think it would be awesome to be in a relationship where they really value what I have to say, Not I would never be in a relationship with I draw the line at somebody who will not listen to what I have to say, who will not listen to my feelings, There's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's,
Well, come here, child versus come here, child changes the message completely.
Yeah,
So,
completely.
Yeah, I read a poem about that forever ago, and it's always very much impacted me. It's always use love in your tone. Is the message is like when you speak to your loved ones, you always need to remember that you love them when you speak to them. And I think that that's very effective when we create our boundaries with our loved ones, is always remembering to show love.
Big time. I have a blog article a little blog post about that, about how words are vibration, and exactly your pets, your pets don't listen to your words, they get the vibration of what you're saying. So you could be saying something really mean, but they're not going to get that if you're saying it really sweetly. They're going to be getting
My
love.
dog does.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's a poodle. She's super smart. Smart.
I want to meet your dog then. But they can also see through, if you're trying to trick them, then they can feel that too, because that also sends different vibration. But yeah, in general, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And when it comes to boundaries, it's all about how you approach boundaries. It's not so much, because everyone has different boundaries. Don't take the boundaries that your friends have and put it on yourself, because, people are different, If you meet that person who is, everything you want, you don't want to ruin it for something that is not a big deal. So it comes down to pick your battles, and when you value what you have, the situations where you kind of feel like you need boundaries starts to the line starts to dissipate, and you feel good in general, and you stop feeling need to control things and making sure this person is not wronging you.
Dr. John Gray says that he's one with Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Yeah, I love him.
In his book, Men Are From Mars and Venus Starting Over, he states that anger ignites passion. So I think that when we are in conflict in our relationships, we can use it as a springboard to ignite passion in our relationships. Now, do you think that that's a possibility?
In an otherwise healthy relationship, yes, completely. If it's not a healthy relationship, then that's kind of like, that's like the commercials with like the different paper towel brands, and one of them, they're bouncing like something heavy on both of them, and one just breaks and the other one bounces back. Healthy relationship bounces back. Unhealthy, weak relationship, it's gonna completely break it off. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure whoever reads that book. Yeah, I mean, most people who read that book are looking to strengthen a healthy relationship, hopefully.
Well, it's actually about going through divorce and getting over it in your next relationship.
Right. So you want to start a strong relationship, and yes, definitely, if it's a strong relationship that you're building, then yeah, you can definitely use anger to ignite passion. And I mean, how awesome is that? You're changing anger, which seems like a bad emotion, but it's not, because on the vibrational scale, anger is better than depression.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, I've heard a quote where depression is anger turned inwards. I don't know if that's always true, but I've noticed for me it's definitely something that's been true in many circumstances. The other thing I was thinking about is, oh gosh, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay, but can I touch on something that you just said?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you said depression is anger
turned inwards.
I translate that to it's anger suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
So when you suppress anger, certainly, because you're not being expressive, and when you're not being expressive with your true self, then that's how you slowly get depressed. But once you can get angry after being depressed, that's a huge step up.
Mm-hmm.
And it might seem like, how is this good? I'm yelling at people around me, but that's kind of good, because you'd rather be responsive to things around you than to not be responsive at all, because that's more life. that means you're living. It means you're experiencing. So.
Yes, you have to be alive and you have to experience things. Now, for me, my time of feeling alive, where I felt the most alive in my life, was actually post-divorce. Now, I love this quote that says, "Everyone's entitled to a first failed marriage." Now, what would you say to the women out there who've had a marriage fail, or the men even, and they're at this point where they feel like they're having the biggest failure in their life? What would you say to those people who are going through that trauma right now?
I got chills when you said that. Okay, so you don't even know. Like, you don't even know what's coming. So when something that, big happens to you and you feel like it's this huge failure, and there's so much coming, because no space opens up without it making room for something else to be filled. And what's being filled in that space is always something better, as long as you allow it to be.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
yeah. So if you're in that space of divorce, and then you linger on, oh man, I have to start over again. Oh man, who's gonna want me? Oh man, what am I gonna do now? Then yeah, you're probably gonna get into a few relationships that are not the best for you. But if you come out of that and think, wow, so like I get another chance?
Yeah.
Really? Because that's what I felt like. I'm sure that's what you felt like too, from what you were saying. Like,
well, when I was into my marriage, I felt like other people desired me much more than my husband did. I felt very desirable to other men. And so I was very excited. I thought I would go out and immediately start dating. It would be absolutely wonderful. And then I get out of my marriage and I just did not want to be with anyone. I just was like backed off from relationships, backed off from the world, kind of became a shut-in at first. And I think that taking that time to heal and really focus in on myself was super beneficial.
yeah.
Super beneficial.
Yeah,
what would you recommend to people who just want to immediately jump in? Would you recommend that they do that, or would you recommend that they do take a step back and take some alone time?
Okay, it's not about time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, a little bit of time, but it's not about the length of time. It's about
Quality?
It's about how aligned you are with what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, me, I started living in my world of possibility in my mind, as in feeling good, way before my divorce was finalized, before I was even separated, because I just felt so uncomfortable in the situation I was in that I started to feel good within myself. So at least when I was going to sleep at night, I felt really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a head start on feeling good and aligning with myself and knowing who I really was, apart from the relationship I physically was in this life, So to someone who maybe, is getting divorced and just did not see it coming, they're gonna need more time to really like figure out, whoa, where am I now and what do I want? And if I don't know what I want, that's okay. But
giving yourself the space for that to be okay.
Yeah, and not making yourself decide what you want. And also not making stupid decisions like, I'm just going to do whatever I want and be with all different kinds of people because this is the opportunity for me now,
Mm-hmm.
So, did I miss anything there?
No, I think you've covered a great deal. I think you've really helped me, and I think you've really helped our viewers. I think it's been a wonderful day today. I was wondering if you might have any closing thoughts on how to keep a relationship going, and if you have any other thoughts on perhaps what's the first thing a person should do in exploring their sensuality and their sexuality after going through trauma. This is a personal question. I'm like wondering. For me, I started taking pole dancing classes, and in ways it was really beneficial, and in other ways it was also kind of damaging. So I was just curious what you would suggest to those people.
Okay, so the first part was what to maintain and keep a healthy relationship going. That's what you're saying. Okay, and second part was what to
how to open up to what you want
okay.
and who you are
Okay.
and your sensuality, your sexuality.
Okay, how to keep a healthy relationship going? Be honest with yourself and be honest with the other person. You can't be honest with the other person if you're not honest with yourself. And sometimes we think we're honest with ourselves, but we're really not, because we're just going along with our old thoughts, and that might not be who we are now. So just be honest with yourself and be honest with the other person. When a relationship ends, like a marriage or any long-term relationship, and yeah, you have this newfound sexuality, and you feel like, wow, I'm actually going to be with someone else now. What's that going to be like?
I know, it's exciting. I'm going to be with somebody else.
It's exciting and it's terrifying. It's exciting and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to be naked in front of somebody else, and you're like,
yes.
my body is not what it was 6 years ago.
Yes.
But
I think it's more of a woman thing. I don't think men have that so much. Well, maybe, if you were in a very long marriage and their bodies changed, but be in alignment with who you are, and know that you're not going to do anything that's uncomfortable, and obviously don't let your sexual urges make you make choices that you're not ready for. I'm a scaredy cat, so I didn't really have a problem with that. I also met my boyfriend really quickly. I mean, we started seeing each other really quickly after my marriage ended, because like I said, remember, I had prepared myself for that mentally. So once I accepted, okay, divorce has to happen, then the universe started bringing me not just him, but all kinds of things that felt good to me. So once I saw him, I felt really good about it, and I didn't have I was careful, but I wasn't just, it wasn't a rebound thing where I was like, all right, yeah, let this happen. But
I think it really, the amount of time spent alone is equivalent to the amount of damage that is done in the previous relationship oftentimes.
It can be, and sometimes you need more, and sometimes you need less.
True. I mean, it depends on how fast you've healed, but what I'm saying is like, if you get cut with a knife, you need time for that to heal, and the length of time that takes is usually equivalent to the damage.
Oh my goodness. When I had, just before I made the decision that no, like, I need to get separated from my husband, just before I made that decision, and during that time, I thought, wow, I cannot deal with another man, like, ever. Like, I don't think I can, because
I'm still in that state.
I don't have it in me, like, completely. I was thinking, no, I can't, because, but see, I was saying that coming from a place of being with someone who was not a bad person at all, but we just were so not right for each other. And, so when I was saying, yeah, this is not, I can't deal with other men right now, it was just because we were so off of alignment with each other, and we were just not, no compatibility, really. So, when the person who comes along is that person who you feel good with, not just sexually, but intellectually, in many ways, then it's even more passionate, it's even more exciting, far beyond what you can imagine, especially when you're coming from an unhappy relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that I think we have a little bit more time.
Okay.
Even now, so I'm excited because we were supposed to go to commercial, but we didn't. So,
So what else you want to talk about?
I was just wondering, now, if you would recommend that people take classes and do things that they enjoy doing, because for me, that's like the advice that I received book after book after book that I read over the last year going through my divorce. It was, the main advice I got was just go out, take classes, take an art class, take a dance class, go out and do things. And so I did. I took voice lessons, I took my dance classes, I took my dog to the dog park and was training my dog every day, and I was living this incredible life. I totally enjoyed it. So much so that it made me afraid to let anyone else in. Because I was like, oh.
Yeah, because you don't want to, because you associate relationships now with what you were in before, and you think it's going to ruin the good that you're already establishing for yourself.
Well, it's like I am so good at giving up myself and my sense of self and my wants and my needs that I just forget about them. Anytime I'm in a relationship, I always get focused on how can I help you, what can I do for you, and so for the first time in my life this last year, I've been like, what do I want? Like, I wake up in the morning, my first question is, what do I want to do today?
But that's so nice, because now what's going to happen is that you're going to get to a point where you can actually balance both.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably exactly when the right guy's going to come along.
How do you know when you're to that point?
You don't. It just happens. You don't, but you can feel if you're very far or very close to it, but that can change moment by moment, because vibrational alignment is not it's not a black and white thing at all. It constantly goes, it's a little bit here, a little bit there. So it's really, you can't map it out, and that's what people really want to do. They're like, oh, teach me how to, the biggest topic the biggest topic I hear about, I talk to people about, is how do I get my ex back? And a lot of it is, you can't, they want no answers. They want to say, teach me exactly what to do to get my ex back. And it's not exactly about what to do. It's about how do you align yourself with a good relationship. So,
People want their exes back?
oh my goodness, it's such a huge thing.
Oh, really?
I was so surprised.
That's crazy.
And there are a lot of LOA. There are a lot of law of attraction teachers and coaches who will not work with them. They will not. And I do. I do because.
Now, why do you choose to work with those people versus not?
Because they need the help. They need the help in the sense of like they need some kind of direction.
Okay, just a second. I just thought there is one ex I would take back.
Okay.
One ex, but that was a very special circumstance. So, yeah.
But see, okay, so it's completely.
I always think there's bigger and better out there.
Yes, there's always bigger and better, but sometimes in a certain in a certain relationship, we're not our bigger and better selves, so we lose that person, So that's what I do. See, I give the people the benefit of the doubt, and I think, okay, you know what? I'm going to teach this person how to be aligned with their highest selves.
Mm-hmm.
So if this ex is truly the person who is good for them, and they are good for this person, then they will be attracted to each other, and it will happen. The universe will make it happen. It will. But at the same time, obviously, there's this thing of, I teach them the law of detachment. You can't say it has to be this person, it has to be this person. Not because I don't want it to be that person for them, but because as soon as you're insistent that this is the only way I can be happy, that's when you're pushing it away because you have this desperation about it. And the desperation is basically, what do men least like? A woman
That
who's
explains my sex life.
A woman who's desperate. That was a lot of information.
I just had to say that. I've definitely pushed that away for sure.
Yeah, no, desperation is just pushes people away completely. So,
Yeah.
so if you want somebody back, or if you have a crush on somebody, let's say if you're younger, or if you have feelings for a friend, or feelings for whatever, someone you come across often, if you have that sense of desperation, like if only this person would want me, then that's not. If only is a lot different than. Wouldn't it be cool if, I went out with this guy or went out with this girl? So yeah, it's not about if this person is your ex, or if this person is your current friend, or if this person is someone you don't even know yet, or somebody you've never seen before. It's all about what you've been putting out there, about how you've been feeling about what you have now. Because a big part of law of attraction is you have to really appreciate what you have now for what it is, so you can take off the tension of I hate where I am now. Because if you hate where you are now, whether it's being single or being with someone you don't like, then you can't really progress from there.
Yeah. One of the books I read talked about raising standards, and how we need to have like our set of like 7, I think it was, standards that we will not compromise on. So what were the things that you would think that every woman should have in her imagination, her mind, of what she wants in her future or current relationship?
That's such a personal, subjective thing that
Well, I think
it's really
being
hard.
treated with respect is something that every woman should have. I love being treated with respect and just hold on to
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, and you know what the best way to have that is?
How?
Treating yourself with respect.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
Once you treat yourself with respect, you can't have much people in your life who are not going to treat you with respect. It's law, like really. If you treat yourself with respect, then that's what you
We're
establish.
out of time today, so treat yourself with respect. Enjoy everything that you are doing with your life, and if you want to find out more about Armene, this is her website. I'm going to hold it up here for a second. manifestwitharmene.com. You should write that down, because she has an ebook out. It's How I Manifested My Soulmate with the Law of Attraction.
Yep.
So go and check that out today. You're going to find some more tips that we didn't get to cover today, and you are beautiful, amazing, and deserve the life you want. Thank you.